All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trade. Today is Thursday, December 30th, 2021. So getting this video out a little late, but getting it out nonetheless here. So seeing the market roll over a little bit today. S&P down 0.28%, NASDAQ down about the same, 0.3, Dow 0.2%. Not a big move by any stretch. This looks like a lot more than it is, but if you pull it back on the daily time frame, you can see it's really not a big move. It looks bigger than it is because of how tight of a range we've been in the last couple of sessions here ever since really Tuesday. We had that one little buy program Monday morning. If we look on the intraday here, there is our little buy program Monday morning and a little float higher and just absolute anemic volume the rest of the week. Now, this is a little significant here. I do think we need to be careful moving forward. And I've said that I am expecting declines as soon as January, possibly even the first week. I don't know if it necessarily happens that fast, but at least probably by the second week in January. And you can see here the market, holding up for now. You are putting in sort of a bullish pattern, but if this fails, you get below this green bar here on a closing basis, you have a failed bullish pattern, and this thing will accelerate to the downside very quickly. We had very light volume here on the SPY. So 55 million shares traded. That includes after hours. I'm getting this video out very late. So that includes after hours. I think when the market was closed, it was about 40 million shares. So very light volume. And despite the very light volume, we still couldn't hold on to our gains. And there is a pretty good sell spike into the end of the day here. Semiconductors also very weak. So let's talk about tech a little bit. SMH here, getting very close to this green bar low, so this is getting close to a failed pattern. We did have some leading semiconductors fail this recent move up. NVIDIA closing below Monday's power bar. So, and NVIDIA also making lower highs now. You had a series of lower highs here, 3 of them in fact. AMD also losing Monday's. So, these are market leaders and they're unable to keep that power bid that we had from Monday. So this is a push to all-time highs in the market, and we're seeing tech unable to replicate that. Triple Qs are holding up for now, but again, if they lose this green bar right down here at 398, we'll call it, this is not going to get, it's going to get ugly very quickly. That's just my opinion. You guys know I've been bearish tech, and tech has been the weak link, and that will continue to be the case. We talked yesterday about this, about the MACD here. Notice how it's kind of just wedging in here. You have this massive bearish divergence that signals distribution. Every time you get up to this topside trend line, it triggers a sell. And who knows, maybe we have a little bit more upside. Maybe we hit that again, and then we break this lower, this series of higher lows. I think that's a very high possibility. And again, I continue to think tech is the weak link, as well as the Russell. Look at how much the Russell rolled over today. On an intraday basis, look at the daily time frame. There's nothing really big going on there. But you look on an intraday basis, nice, tight, bullish pattern, set up for an advance, and then all of a sudden, 3 p.m., just bottom falls out of it. So we're seeing weakness there. How about the diamond? Dow Jones, new all-time high intraday. Couldn't hold the gains, despite absolutely dismal volume. Usually when you have very light volume, the market is very buoyant, and you want to give the market an upside bias. So semis looking soft, Russell looking soft, tech looking weak outside of really Apple and Microsoft. Even Microsoft rolled over, pretty nicely today. Finished down 0.3%, nothing, or 0.75%, nothing crazy, but big tech starting to look weak here. And really, that's all this market has. That's all this market has left. Breadth is terrible. Everyone knows that. The saying, Apple is the market, that is very much the case right now. And if this market loses Apple and Microsoft and Google, it's going to get ugly very quickly. And I think the semiconductors are trying to tell us something here. If the semis lose this green bar low, it's going to get ugly very fast. And again, I don't know if it happens tomorrow. I don't know if it happens next week, but I am expecting a rough January moving forward. Let's talk about some other sectors. So other tech area here, IGV. We've been talking about this last couple of days. The weekly, what is this? Bearish inside bar. So move down, chopping. You're making lower highs on the weekly and daily time frame. 1, 2, 3 lower highs. So cloud software also showing signs of softness. Let's look over at the Dow Transports. So Dow Transports had a nice little pop off this 100 MA here, and a rollover just like everything else. Intraday here, one little pop, distribution, bear flag, and then down into that 200 MA. Probably gets a bid tomorrow, but still a rollover nonetheless. We talked about the weekly time frame. Close below this blow off top green bar. See that little close right there? That shows weakness. I told you that this probably will make a lower high, and you can probably fade that if you want to. So Dow Transport's also looking weak. How about Fins? Fins also rolling over, making lower highs here. XLF, XBD. This red bar has held as resistance, closed below Monday's. Just double check. We closed right on Monday's open. So, broker dealers also weak. How about Bank of America? Look at this bear base here. Weekly time frame, inside bar. Goldman, hit that 50 moving average, tried to break this bear flag down, but I mean, lower highs everywhere in financials. And if we're losing tech and we're losing, this is JP Morgan, lower highs. If we're losing tech and we're losing financials, what do we really have left? Well, we have energy. Energy has held up okay. Again, XLE rolling over a little bit. But again, lower highs here. You still have a potential for another pop here in the XLE. Nice little inside bar kind of pulled back. I think this probably can get up to 57, 58, maybe 59, but that'd be a bit of a stretch. But energy really kind of the last area of any sort of strength here in the market here that could possibly bid it up. Let's look over at crude oil here. So crude holding up a little bit. This probably has upside, again, I said 77, 78. It's probably got upside to this bar here, the high 78.65. Maybe it can tag up to 79. In the near term, it's trying to consolidate that move. But really, that's all I see here in the near term. I don't necessarily think it's a short because you have this nice support area right here that this is a nice consolidation. We were actually buyers down here of the UCO, and that paid off pretty nicely. So, I mean, you could short it if you're really aggressive and your outlook is maybe a couple of days, but I wouldn't expect this for a huge move lower. And then you also have this kind of lower trend line here of this broadening pattern that would be upsloping. So, yeah, you could probably get a nice 10% out of it if you had an SCO, but it's a little bit aggressive for me. But I still think, if you're aggressive, you can short that there. Because I think upside is limited compared to where your downside is, but I'll probably stay away from it personally. But in any case, that's kind of the outlook there on crude. We also talked about XLE, XOP also rolling over a little bit more. XLE has been the stronger horse out of the XOP, OIH, and XLE. Obviously, I've been reiterating really the last couple of months, the OIH has been soft. Had this nice rally in October, and it just couldn't hold any of those gains. It's trading back down to where really the lows of August almost. So OIH is something to avoid. Let's talk about Nat Gas. So Nat Gas took a spill today. So it had a nice little 2-day rally here, came back in yesterday, and then dumped, made a new low today. This is going lower. If you want to get in on this trade, we already got the level worked out. We will be taking this again. We did take Boyle about a month ago, made a nice bit of change. I think we took 10.3% first time on Boyle. We picked it up right in here. And, nice little gain for us. We will be getting into that again. So if you want to get in on that, come join me on Patreon. I will be on Patreon for another month, and then it will be going to the new website, which is in the link below in the description. But in any case, Nat Gas has one more little thrust lower, and then we'll be getting in. But it did reverse here. Looked like it wanted to come back up and retrace this move, but pulling back now. And I think that gets down to our level pretty shortly. Anyways, let's move on here. Let's go over Bitcoin. So Bitcoin here had a nice little rebound. Sold off a little bit yesterday and into today, then kind of closed green. So, it's trying here, but you lost this green bar, and I just never like it when you close below a power bar low or any sort of wide range bar low. And that happens. And you have rates, kind of accelerating. But by the way, that's the other thing about financials. We have rates moving up right now, And that's supposed to be risk on for risk assets. And Bitcoin is nowhere to be found. Bitcoin's rolling over, can't get out of its own way. Same thing with financials. Financials should be doing good with a higher yield, and they are simply not doing that. So I'm not in love with Bitcoin right now. I'm not in love with crypto, and I'm not in love with financials. But speaking of yields, let's talk about them really quickly. So TNX here, 10-year, nice little inside day, pullback, had a little pop, obviously, yesterday, and then just an inside day here, just a minor retrace, nothing to make out of it. Same thing with the TYX, did have a slight outside day, but, ultimately, holding its gains from yesterday, essentially from the previous day. So nothing really to make out of it. I do expect yields to advance. Maybe not tomorrow, but in the coming weeks, though. I think yields really put pressure on tech, and that is why I'm not very fond of tech, as you guys know. But in any case, yields having a nice little pullback day after a nice pop. Dollar index, slightly greenish, did get hammered a little bit yesterday, coming off the lows here. But again, ultimately, the big picture is this beautiful bullish pattern here on the dollar index weekly time frame. Look at how the moving averages are starting to slope up here. Once this 20 MA catches up with price, the dollar will be, it will get some fuel, and I think it gets up to 98 to 99. Let's talk about the opposite. So gold here, having a nice day. And, yields pulled back a little bit, so that makes sense. See the GLD just ripped higher all day long. So nice close there. It's still got to get above this little high pivot here, 1821.6. If we can do that, you can get up to 1840, but it's going to hit a wall of resistance at 1860. Silver, obviously same kind of deal here. Tried to get up above those moving averages, but it needs to consolidate. So if it can do that, maybe you can get up to the 24 handle in the near term. Platinum, I actually like this pattern a little bit here on platinum for a advance maybe into the 1020, 1040 area. I have to run some numbers on it. I'm doing this video late. Apologies, obviously. But, nice little bullish pattern there on platinum. And it can, I said, it's got to consolidate to get through those MAs. If it can do that, then, it can move higher. But ultimately, I think there's a better buy level on platinum, and it is a little bit lower. Palladium, also a bit of a pause day here. Just had a nice thrust off the lows. This is a very volatile metal, by the way. And obviously that 100 MA downsloping, it's going to have to do a little bit of work to get through that. But you finally got the 20 MA starting to catch up there. Let's talk about copper. I think copper has a chance to advance today. So this would be Friday. You can see this is the Friday candle of the futures. So when I say today, I mean Friday, which would be tomorrow technically. But you have pop 1, 2, 3 pullback. There's a chance we can pop up here. But again, copper is going to be stuck in the range if it cannot get above 451, spot 15. If it can do that, you can get up to 464 before you run into some real resistance. Now, if we close below this green bar low, you're going to head right back down to 425. And if you cannot hold 425 on a weekly close, this thing goes a lot lower. You're going right down to 370. I'll just tell you right now, that's where it's going. But for right now, we'll give it the upside bias. It's holding up and hanging in there just fine for now. Let's see, we talked about just about everything. Let's cover the VIX real fast. So VIX actually coming, I thought this was gonna finally wash out today and get the flush I was looking for. Didn't quite get there. Actually closed green, so the market rolled over even with the light volume. But in any case, VIX closing green. Again, to reiterate from yesterday, if you're an options trader, a good time to buy options premium is now. I wouldn't want to be a seller of premium right now because it is implied volatility is so low. So if you're an options buyer, options trader, I would look to be buying premium right now. And then when you get a spike in volatility, you can take advantage of that implied vol that comes with the underlying option. Anyways, vol getting very cheap, and this market's just getting lulled to sleep right now. Investors are starting to get careless, and they're starting to get wildly bullish. So I see that. Generally want to get on the other side of the boat. In any case, we'll see where we close out the day tomorrow. If you want to get in on some trades, come join me on Patreon. Come join my new website. It is free to join for right now. The Patreon is $5 a month, but eventually my services will be moved from Patreon over there. Just saves me a lot of headache. And plus the new website looks really good. You guys should check it out. Anyways, guys, have a great rest of your night. I will talk to you tomorrow. You guys take care.